Well, we have to admit the Debrief staff got a bit excited when we spotted this, a news app for children 7 to 10 years old. I said 12 earlier, really targeted towards 7 to 10 years old. It's called News-O-Matic, and we're happy to welcome on the Debrief the editor-in-chief, Russell Kahn, who's with us, and also Dr. Phyllis Ohr, who's an expert in child psychology. She's a professor of psychology, among a zillion other things she does at Hofstra University. Thank you both for being here. Russell, tell us a little bit about News-O-Matic. It's a few months old now, how it works, and why you decided to come up with it.
Well, News-O-Matic is the very first daily newspaper for children in America. It gives kids an opportunity to understand what's going on in their world, and it empowers them to make a difference in their world. Actually, we give children ways for them to make a difference, actions, things to do.
What made you think that 7 to 10 years old, this could be good for them? I mean, they obviously have access to information, probably under parent supervision, to news, but why come up with a specific news app for them?
Well, that's the age where children are making the leap from learning to read to reading to learn. So now they're understanding, reading nonfiction and understanding about the world. We want to use that opportunity to teach them about current events and what's happening around them.
You're going to show us in a second, but I want to ask Dr. Ohr, is this a good age group, and why is it a good age group to start targeting them towards what we say news or current events of the day, if you will?
Sure. Whether or not children are sitting there reading a newspaper, they're still hearing things.
Well, even adults aren't, and that's the issue for the newspaper industry that they've been trying to deal with, but go ahead.
So it's a good age to present something to them that they could understand. It's on their level. It's using words that are clear, that are at their vocabulary level. So it's a good way for them to sit down and feel independent, that they're doing something.
Okay. All right. Well, Russell, you're in possession of the highly coveted NBC4 New York iPad 5000. Actually, iPad 4000. And I just made that up. But anyway, give us an example. Take us through the site.
So this is our latest edition. We're working on the new one for today right now.
Okay.
But here are 5 stories. Our top story in today's edition is called Save Our Streams, and it's a story, I'm going to go into it from here. It's our top story.
Right.
The EPA came out this week and talked about the health of our streams and our rivers in America. They actually said 55% of all streams and rivers in the United States are in poor condition.
Okay.
So what we did was we reported on the news and explained to kids some ways that they can make a difference. We actually interviewed children for the story. And so this is, an example of the kind of story we would cover.
Okay. What else is on there? You also have other ways to...
Absolutely. Of course, we want to hear from kids. We want to hear their opinions. So they get to rate every story, whether they like it or not, and they actually give us feedback. They can write to us. They can draw pictures. And this is actually a daily way to communicate, helping them understand that newspapers, or our newspaper, News-O-Matic, is not just a one-way direction. We want to hear from them. We want to communicate. We want to open a dialogue.
So who works with you, and how do you decide the content? I mean, often, this happens with my own son. He'll see a headline on TV. Sometimes, if the TV just happens to be on, it's a tough story. How do we take them through that? How do you decide which content is on here? So focused.
Well, we have a team of journalists that come to us every day to tell us about the stories that they're seeing in the world, and of course we scan all the major news organizations around the world, and basically we want to try to get a balance of important world stories that they need to hear about, whether it's politics or right now we have a story in Madagascar, and of course Malala Yousafzai is publishing a book. She's the inspiring girl from Pakistan, but of course we want stories that we know will appeal to our young audience as well. So we have a hula hoop record being set in Northern California. Okay. So we try to get a balance.
Dr. Ohr, how do parents work with this tool in teaching their kids and going through it and the content, if you will?
One of the things they can do is set aside a little bit of time during the day, sitting down with them, going over news stories, looking at some of the more inspirational ones, getting children to do some of the activities that they include in the articles, which is really nice. It gives parents and children a way of doing things that they normally wouldn't be able to do together by looking at the articles and coming up with good ideas from the articles.
Okay.
They also get a chance to just sit down and read together, and the parents could see how the children are reacting.
Interesting. All right, Russell, I know you say it's important that it's ad-free because you don't want any kind of particular ad getting in front of the kids. So tell us, it's subscription-based. Tell us how it works for parents now.
Sure. Well, it's a free download. It's available on the App Store for all iPads, and you get 3 editions for free to check it out. Make sure your kids are engaged in the content. That's a key for us.
Who are you telling? Yeah. Engaged in the content.
Yeah, we want them to be reading. We really want them to be inspired. And at some point after 3 editions, you have to subscribe. But again, it is ad-free, 100% ad-free, and this is really important, especially for this age group, because kids at that age don't necessarily understand the difference between content and advertising.
Sure.
And so we want that to be a clear distinction. Yeah.
All right, it's called News-O-Matic. You can look for it in the App Store. Russell and Dr. Ohr, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll be right back.